Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Treya Tarot. This is the collective reading for Thursday, December 5th, 2024. I am currently shuffling my Morgan-Greer for this reading. This one has reversals, so if you like these readings, please like, comment, and subscribe. I have noticed some strange comments in the comment section, which I'm removing just in case anybody wants to know. I am removing any comments that are strange or out of context or inappropriate. Let's try and keep these comments to, what we're doing here. Okay. Thank you to the one person who always comments in alignment with what we're actually talking about. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see what we have. Yesterday's reading felt pretty clearing for me. I feel much better today. So I'm hoping other people do too. Oh, all right. Well, we know what the top pile is. I love when it's clear which pile to pick. Okay. All right. All right. So I have a little bit of a caveat or warning to send out. If you are going to go against what your heart or your intention really wants, you will get that in return. Be careful where you are, or we should all be. We should all be careful where we focus our energy. The Knight of Cups reversed. There's a halting here. There's a halting or a reversal of something that goes against the truth of someone's internal reality. And because of that, you are switching from this active movement forward towards the thing that would bring you fulfillment to the, oh no, what happens if I do that? What will I get? What will happen to me? What do I have to invest in that thing that would be fulfilling? To the Page of Rods energy, which is very, in this particular spread, I'm going to say is a bit avoidant in that it's much more about immediate gratification or what feels passionate as opposed to what feels fulfilling. So there's immediately a question here of, do I go in the direction of the thing that matters the most to me and do the work, or do I go in the direction of the thing that feels the best in the immediate, and how bad will the fallout be? Pretty bad, I could say. Okay, so here's the impending possibility. Yesterday's reading talked of a wish fulfillment, right? So there's a portion of the collective here that is working on wish fulfillment, meaning they're headed towards something that feels really aligned with who they are. They're absolutely in it. They're going to get what they want, right? And there's another side of the collective here that is still trying to evade their own personal responsibility, their own sense of that Ace of Cups. What is it that they really want? They're still trying to find an easier way or a more fun way or a way that doesn't feel as restrictive, because with the Pentacles cards here, there's a discipline factor, okay? The Nine of Wands here is all about self-protection. Your self-protection, your inability to trust your own heart will cost you what you're hoping for. So, kind of adverse to yesterday's reading in a lot of ways. If you are not willing to put in the work with others, you will lose. You will lose the thing that you want. And what's interesting about this, coming up almost completely conversely to what was talked about yesterday, is the choice that this presents on some level, especially with the readings from yesterday and the day before. There's this choice that we now have. It's funny. In a lot of the more spiritualist circles, they talk about the split this split between two timelines. That's how they present it. But this is how I see it. I see the comparable thing. It's not a split of timelines for me. It's a split of choice. It's people either choosing to open up into the actual mutual collectivism that we're working on some level, emotional collectivism, because that's what I mean. It's this sort of ability to show up authentically, being held and received for that thing, actually finding love on some level, actually finding community, family, whatever, work that aligns with who you really are, financial situations that actually support us, things like that. It's about balancing out the extremes that we've been living in for so long. The individualism, the, hustle culture, the way that we've been taught that we have to just kind of do everything on our own. So yesterday's and today's readings seem to go together because they present your two options. Yesterday's reading presents this open door of, can you allow for the vulnerability you need to show up, to be held, to work towards a purpose, to make an impact every day, to do all of those things, knowing full well that the only time that's ever going to matter is here while you're doing it. Can you show up for that experience, or will you keep yourself locked away? Will you, out of fear or out of a sense of immediate need for some sort of escapism or gratification, escape that process, leave it behind, and then lose it? This ultimately creates isolation for those that choose this path. If you choose to avoid the work, you do not get the solid foundation. But you also don't have to feel much about it, which is interesting. It's funny. If you never risk it, you never have anything to lose. And if you never have anything to lose, then yeah, on one hand, you definitely don't have to suffer with any of the sadness that is presented in the human experience, but you also don't get any of the things you're asking for. It's purgatory, essentially. No release, no freedom. I don't know if the algorithm even cares about the judgment card, but there it is. Interesting. What's interesting, though, is that this path seems to lead to quite the escape. No release, but also no need to have, no requirement of having to face the manipulation or the ways in which you've deceived yourself or others. So essentially, you do escape with this path, but you escape to nothing. You escape to emptiness on a level that is not release. I like to talk about these things with people a lot. And I have someone in my friendship circle that we talk about these themes often. And there's something to be said for making the choice to show up for the experience while we're here. When you don't show up for the experience, and that'll be different for everyone, you do essentially never find the breakthrough point, but you also never have to face yourself either. And that Seven of Swords, the Seven of Swords upright is about deceit and manipulation and also disarming your enemy. So essentially, by not choosing to follow your own heart, you're giving more ammunition to those, or more mental ammunition, because obviously it's more in the mind space here. You're giving your opponents more to work with by not owning your authenticity and what you really, really want here. You're actually feeding the opposite. I don't understand why anyone would do this. This is interesting. Knight of Pentacles reversed. The Knight of Pentacles reversed waits for more information before moving. Okay. So overall, what I see with this reading is basically the opposite choice to yesterday's reading. That's exactly what's presented here. If you ignore, okay, so I'm getting a pretty clear intuitive read here that This is for someone who faltered, who has doubt. This message is for people who may have been on the track that yesterday's reading presented, feeling a little bit better, moving a little bit forward, and then something comes in to present either the fear, the anxiety, the escape hatch, or a pattern that they're used to engaging in. This is the presentation of the pattern that could essentially hurt your chances of completing what yesterday's reading presented. So if you choose the same thing you chose before, you will end up with the same pattern. This is your pattern. This is the restart of the thing that doesn't work, that always ends up here with, oh no, what do I do now? How do I fix this now? Why do I feel this way now? Again, when presented with the past, especially the past in ourselves, the opportunity we have is to decide that it's not accurate anymore and to flip that and go for the vulnerability, the truth of what our heart wants, the reality within us that is more presence-filled than our fear. So, okay, today or this week, when we are presented with the option to do the thing we used to do that used to lead us down the path that we didn't want over and over again, when we are presented with the people-pleasing, the self-isolation, the refusing to risk it on the thing that we actually care for or want to do, when we meet that point, when we meet the point where we get the mundane job that will pay our bills in the immediate instead of actually putting in the effort to create the business that we want to be working in. Okay? You see where I'm going with this? When you betray your authenticity, you end up with the same thing over and over again. The trick here, Knight of Pentacles reversed, will be to know which is your authenticity and which is your self-protective mechanism, 9 of Rods. What are your actual values? I'll leave it with that. What are your actual values here? And are you living within those actual values? Or are you telling yourself your values are different in an effort to feel less pressed up against the ways in which you betray yourself? Those are the questions. Now, with those questions present, let's reshuffle and see what comes out. Okay. Queen of Swords reversed. Strength, upright. Happy to see it upright. For those of us that have a tendency not to speak up, Ace of Pentacles, upright. Okay. For those people who tend not to speak up or draw the line when the boundary is crossed, you're going to need to flip that over. Okay. You need to, or we could be presented with the opportunity to actually say what we need to say. And if you decide not to, two things can occur. Either you can get really centered in what you know, meaning you may be the type of person who normally starts the fight, and this time you decide not to. And that allows you to come in contact with your own personal strength, but it also helps you reset the pattern. On the other hand, if you are the type of person who normally doesn't speak up and you need to be doing that, you will be presented with the opportunity, the experience of wanting to keep your mouth shut, the experience of wanting to avoid the conflict, and you have to have the inner wisdom and strength in that moment to speak up. So this can be read either way. But here you are presented with the opportunity to use what you've learned, to pull the wilder aspects of yourself together and focus that energy towards the actual reality you want to be living in. Because no matter what is terrible here, no matter what is repeating or what is detrimental to our well-being, we are essentially creating our reality. So the more awareness and focus you bring to your experience, the easier it will be to create the thing that you actually want to be experiencing. You have to be unafraid of yourself to do this process. That's the point. This isn't about fear of other or fear of loss or fear of income loss or fear of any of those one particular things, but that's what it masks as. What this is fear of self. That's what this reading presents. Are you still afraid of yourself? And if you are not, why aren't you presenting with your authenticity first? Okay, breaking old contracts. Interesting. Letting go of old ideals. Okay, so, all right. It is time to restructure what you think this means. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is that perfect connected ideal. You know, it's community, it's family, it's fulfillment, right? It's coming up reversed. It's time to leave behind the thing that doesn't feel good. It's time to leave behind the thing, the experience you're recreating that you think you have to do because it's the only way. It's time to leave it behind so that you can actually find what feels good. This will overturn and become upright when you choose to do this. The 10 of Cups is an amazing influence upright. The 10 of Cups is everything that we're working for. Everything a conscious person might be working for, because it's the experience of how do I live in my heart? How do I create a life around me that actually supports all of the good too, right? But this 8 of Cups tells me that if we continue to live in the reverse of this, if we continue to live in the self-destructive pattern or the part of us that believes we can't have our upright 10 of Cups, the part of us that believes this doesn't exist, if we keep living in the overturn of what we want, we will keep suffering. So to create the new, to find the open door that creates the new experience, you have to leave behind the ideas and belief systems that keep you stuck to everything is going down the tubes. Nothing can be good. We're all facing it. We're all here together facing this particular type of theme. So at least everyone in my life is kind of being faced with the, how do I see the world? Is it really all awful? Is it really, does it really hold nothing for me? So it's time to leave that behind and create the good thing. It's time to create the good thing. And if you don't choose it, you're going to recreate the pattern. So that's what's open. That's what's on the table for today. This deck is so important to me and so special to me on some level. This is the deck I learned how to read on. And it always shows me the harsh truth, which is what I love about it. So make your choice, just like yesterday. I said choose love yesterday, but you know what? You have the choice. You can choose love. You can choose what your heart says, or you can choose to do this same pattern all over again. It's up to you. The trick is knowing which one is which, and that's going to be the fun part. It's figuring out which choice actually means the breakthrough. Oop. Victory. Let me see. Yeah, I can't see that because of the way the rig is held up, but victory, the sun. I'll pull one more just for fun. Yeah. 3 of Cups reversed is an interesting cap to that, but the choice gets made, the truth gets seen, and the situations from the past that may have seemed a little complex or complicated get reversed. So I'm just completely Queen of Cups reversed. Yeah. All right. So yeah, are we ready? This week is bound to be really interesting. I'm sure many of us will end up with experiences where we didn't expect the result to be as such. There might actually be a few surprises in store. Let's hope that you're choosing your own victory and you're choosing the truth. And if you are, Share your success. And if you're not, by all means, you're supported. Even if you go around in the pattern one more time, there's always an opportunity to change it. Because it's you. It's all you. It's all us. All right. Have a good day. I'll see you soon.